what's up? It's your host, Torry, and who is ready to be petty? Welcome back to another episode of RTBP. I am so excited for today's episode. Cara Berry from the Everyone's Business But Mine podcast joins me. And before we just dive right in, I want to give you a warning that there is some extra spicy language in this episode. Without further ado, here is my conversation with Cara. I'm back with a very special guest, Cara from Everyone's Business But Mine. Cara, how are you?
I'm lovely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming on. I've been loving all of the content that you've been putting out. So I was like, I feel like we've got some things to talk about.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited.
Nice. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I have a pop culture podcast called Everyone's Business But Mine, and I talk about way too much. Everything from what's going on in current events to housewives recaps, Married at First Sight. Sometimes I'll dip into Love After Lockup. Whatever's on Bravo, I'm talking about it. So yeah, it's just kind of an entertainment catch-all.
Yeah, I feel like Bravo is really... Well, it's nonstop, but I feel like especially right now, there's just so much coming out. Like it's a good day to be a Bravo fan.
Big time. Are you a Summer House fan?
Yes. Like I think that Below Deck and Summer House are my two favorite Bravo shows.
Okay. Summer House is like quickly taking the number one spot for me. So yeah, it's basically the only thing that I'm living for at this point, and we'll just see what happens.
Me too. I feel like it's the one show that after I watch it, like on its air date, I immediately go to Reddit and just consume every like piece of media I can.
Interesting. I've been like off of Reddit. Like I was really heavy into it years ago, and I kind of have gone off of it, but now I've been like dipping a toe back into the Reddit waters, and it's a little bit scary because I know that I could like go down that rabbit hole so quickly.
Yes.
But it's good stuff. Maybe I'll check out the Summer House subreddit.
It's good.
Okay.
I find it's like not as toxic, which is like
That's
saying
good.
something, but like I just feel like it's not as toxic as like a lot of other subreddits.
That's good.
But I know what you mean. Like all of a sudden I have 40 tabs open going story by story. And I'm like, oh, this is ugly.
Yeah. Like the things that I Google in the middle of the night, I'm already ashamed of. So I don't need to like have access to more of that.
What are you excited for the new season? It premieres January 17th, I believe.
Yeah, I'm really excited about whatever's going on or went on between Kyle and Amanda. Typically, I don't like those storylines where like we already know they got married, so
yes,
it's kind of like pointless to see like this whole drama leading up to it. I don't know, but like in this case, I'm actually pretty interested. And I have no interest whatsoever in Carl and Lindsay's storyline because that's supposed to be my husband, and I don't appreciate it.
I know, but I actually think that they're like the real deal.
I think they are, and I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, I didn't think that I would actually be upset about this, but I am. So here I am.
Yeah. I feel like when it's like other girls, you're like, oh, whatever. But when it's with Lindsay, it's like, oh, this is like real.
Yeah, exactly.
And I love that there's going to be more Paige, Craig, and the Italian guy who I'm like blanking on his name.
Andrea. Yeah. I am very interested in seeing how that shakes out. But I'm liking seeing, like, did you watch Winter House?
Yes.
So, like, I did not like Paige in the Winter House because I'm so used to her being, like, this, like, kind of a badass, always the one who's, like, the alpha in the relationship. And, like, seeing her, over him? I was like, I don't like this girl. Is, like, she running into the arms of Craig, like, the greatest thing I want to see? I don't know, but I'm interested. I'm definitely interested.
Yeah, that's a really good point because you're right. Now that I think about it, with her and Carl, like he was the one really into her and she was like more hesitant. And then with Perry, she was like, this is what I want. If you're not giving me what I want, like we're done.
Mm-hmm.
And then Andrea, she just like was obsessed immediately.
Yeah, so odd.
I feel like she really gives me Charlotte from Sex and the City vibes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just like really her idea of like dating and marriage is like happily ever after, one soulmate type of shit. And I feel like it's just really interesting to watch.
Yeah, I agree. But like also like Paige, Charlotte wasn't afraid to walk away from like most of her relationships. Like Trey was an outlier, but like, you know, she walked away from that guy who kissed her poorly. She walked away from the guy who called her a fucking whore, excuse me, in bed.
No, it's okay.
You know,
So,
you know, she had boundaries.
Yeah. No, that's true. You're right. She had high expectations, kind of like, I guess, Paige, and then, wasn't afraid to share them. So yeah, same with me with the Kyle and Amanda stuff. I don't know, like they tease relationship drama with them every season, but like for some reason it does really like perform. Like I like that.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't get tiring for me.
Exactly. Bring it on.
Literally. So today we're going to talk about more of the Kardashians. I feel like my listeners are like, okay, like like pause, put this away, just because I'm on like week 3 of like Tristan and Khloe shit.
Right. I mean, the fatigue is real and I get that, but I also feel like, you know, there's a little spurts of life that comes in and we all want to talk about it, even though we say like, oh, I'm so sick of them. It's like all of us were on Twitter like 2 days ago having the time of our lives. So like, let's not even go there.
Literally, I was clamoring for my phone when I first saw that the Instagram posts or the stories were released.
Wow.
And I swear that just talking about that is like the most DMs I've ever got from people. It's just like about this situation.
Yep. Yep.
It's like the complaining while you're doing it, but you'll do it. That's will be me talking about them.
Absolutely.
We're going to talk about the Kardashians. We're going to talk about Selena and Cara Delevingne, and then maybe Katy Perry coming out of what I'm referring to her as like her flop era, but I feel bad because I feel like I just like she's been non-existent in my life, so I feel like I'm calling it a flop era, but like maybe other people have different opinions, so
not
we'll
me.
chat about that. Yeah, perfect. Oh my god. So I think like the biggest thing that I haven't talked about on the podcast yet that I've been dying to talk about is like Kim photoshopping Stormy out of some Disneyland pictures and imposing True's face onto Stormy's body ?
Yeah.
Why is my big question. Please tell us.
I don't know. And honestly, I was thinking about it earlier and I was thinking like, you know, every time something happens that makes, you know, the Kardashians make headlines for, people are always like, oh, this is such a production, you know, the devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder, what have you. But this, I feel like, is a thing that happens quite frequently, especially with Kim, is that they have these Photoshop fails. Like a couple Halloweens ago, they did a family, like the West family Halloween picture, and Chicago didn't have a foot, like half of her foot was gone.
Yes.
She clearly had to be photoshopped in, and it's just so bad. And how is it possible that these people who are so image obsessed and clearly get every picture photoshopped could have such an egregious error where people would clearly pick up on, like, you look at that picture for half a second and you're like, that's not true. Like, it's true, but it's not true. Like,
totally.
And so I don't understand. I'm like coming up with a theory of why they do this, because there has to be something, but I haven't quite gotten it together yet.
Is it because they just keep getting away with it?
I don't know. I don't know if it's like a distraction for something else because it's like so funny and it's so obvious. I don't know. I don't know what it could be.
I always think it is strategic. Like people are saying just the timing was that she posted this picture and then like Travis returned to Instagram after the Astro World tragedy, and then Kylie posted a pregnancy picture. But I'm like, does a picture of her kids that was taken months ago that's like photoshopped, but we're made to believe that it's like recent, I guess, and of the people that it actually is of.
Right.
Like, but I'm like, is that like big enough news to, or maybe the Photoshop scandal is the thing.
Right. I think it is. Like, I don't know. Maybe that was like the soft launch of like, let's get us talking about something stupid with the Kardashians. So then when Kylie drops a picture, it's like not really that big a deal. And we're not talking about Astroworld.
Other like TikTok commentators and podcasters and stuff talk about how they have nailed like outrage interest. I can't remember the specific term, but basically it's like you do something on purpose to outrage your fans or like the general public, but it just gets us like talking about them more and stuff.
Right.
So that's another thing that I was thinking about is just, again, it's 6 days later or whatever, and I'm still talking about it.
Right.
It worked in that sense.
It absolutely worked.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just so interesting because I feel like every time I talk about them, I'm like, you couldn't do anything worse than this. And then like a year later, I'm like, no, you couldn't do anything worse than this. And then like it just repeats itself.
Totally. We're in hell, you know?
Yeah.
What can I say?
Literally. And it came on the heels of like them releasing their Hulu trailer of the Kardashians, which is their new show. My impression was when they were doing a new show, they're like, okay, we're doing like a full revamp, rebrand, new content, new theme, like new whatever. It looked and felt and sounded the exact same as Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yeah, it's like they barely even changed the font.
Yes.
It's so weird. And I mean, like, it's so typical, but like to have this whole big swan song about how like they can't do the show and New York heating is going to really clank in a second.
It's okay.
It's like they make this whole big deal about how they're leaving and how it's like the end of an era and all this stuff, and it's like, but then like you guys basically have the same crew probably, like you're having this whole big goodbye, and it's like what's it all for? I don't get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And then maybe it makes sense as to why they were so chill about it. I mean, Kim was like, so like, let's just do it, because they knew that there was something coming down the pike anyway.
Totally. Yeah. I feel the same thing. It was almost kind of like what I thought Kris Humphries and her wedding. I was like, why do all of this song and dance if like it's,
right.
I don't know. And like this huge production, if it was like, I don't know, potentially staged or whatever.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's totally them, is like they got a year of headlines of us being like, Keeping Up is ending after 20 seasons. Here's the reunion. Here's the clip shows. Here's like the sappy trailers for the finale. And then they can just like restart again. But they already got us. They got the full year of like specials and stuff.
It's so wild. How, like, what is your interest out of 10?
Of the new show?
Yeah.
Okay, so my interest to watch the premiere is a 10. Because I hate myself. But my interest in watching episode 2 is a 0.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I need to know what is going on. Yeah. But I have no interest in continuing to watch. Like, I didn't watch the last, like, 3 seasons of Keeping Up.
You didn't miss much. There's a lot of, like, oh, let's put Jonathan in a wig and, like, play with Chris. Like, nobody needs to see that. And frankly, we should have all been paid for it.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, they are good for, like, a premiere, but then they decline real quickly. So I think I'm with you. Like, I really want to see the premiere. I need some answers as to why we're just doing the same show, or if we're doing the same show. And I want to see if Kylie talks, because she hadn't talked since season 18, really. So I'm interested in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that a lot of people are saying that Kourtney and Travis are going to have more of a storyline. But like, again, I'm like, this is just the same shit repackaged.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really surprised that Kourtney even wants to do this, and she made such a big to-do about not wanting to do the show anymore for her own sake. And to now be like with Travis, and like we saw the cameras on Instagram stories after they got engaged and they had their engagement dinner. So yeah, I'm interested. I'm like wondering if like Travis encouraged this being on the show, or if this was something that she actually wanted to do. I'm very curious about that.
Yeah, that's a good point because I think we forget about that Travis had his own reality TV show
Mm-hmm.
on MTV,
Yeah.
and he was featured on Keeping Up with the Kardashians in like season 14 or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So he's
Yeah.
like obviously not shy towards cameras or anything.
Right. And he has a relationship with the family, like you said, that like is obviously off camera. So yeah, I'm really interested.
Yeah, I was really gunning for like a Shark Tank type show or
Mm.
where we could see the positive side of the Kardashians,
Yeah.
like their business acumen, but like I think we're just getting the same TV show. So
I yeah, I think we might be as well. It's gonna be a ride. Like I would really love if they just like mentioned it all, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
yeah. Are you waiting for like the tell all book, or do you think we'll die never knowing like what's in the recipe or whatever that saying is?
I would love that. I mean, I've been lighting my candle since Northwest's conception that she would come in and say something. Mason, I got my eyes on Mason, and I've got my eyes on
Yes.
North. Rain seems very squirrely and
Yes.
reckless, so I feel like he's going to do something. So I'm waiting for any of them to say something.
I thought it was gonna be Mason until did you see Kim post
Still, the
about
text, yeah.
yes, until the text of him being an insightful king, being like, we should protect North, like, I made a
Right.
mistake, like family first, and like just the indoctrinated like thoughts of like I guess that's not indoctrination, but like just the already just priming like a 12-year-old to think that way is just
Yeah.
so weird to me.
And I thought that was so cute. But then, like, a few hours later, I saw a tweet and I was like, oh, yeah. And somebody said, like, Mason was talking about the importance of like internet privacy, and then his aunt immediately posts a screenshot of his text message for the whole world to see.
I literally didn't even think of that, but you're so right, or this person is. That's so funny. Oh my goodness. Yeah, classic. Classic. Like
Classic.
it's meta almost. Like it's just it's so
It's beyond
interesting.
parody, right?
Yes. Yeah, it truly is. So obviously the big story of the week, I feel like my timeline is just all Tristan Thompson
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
He released a apology to Khloe when the paternity results of his child with Marilee Nichols was proven or released or whatever. I really think it broke the internet, like truly,
Yeah.
which is surprising because this is like the 10th time that this has happened.
Right. And it's so like it's interesting because I've been following the story and I did think, and I said on my podcast, like, okay, the one thing that is interesting is that she's not giving a paternity test. Like this whole time he's been asking, and like, I believe that that was his kid. There, you know, I didn't need the paternity test, but I did think it was like a little bit suspect that she wouldn't just give it to him, right? But then I was thinking it's kind of genius because I think what happened is maybe he talked to her sideways one time and she's like, you know what? I'm just gonna like pull this little string and we're gonna ride this until the wheels fall off. Because she knew that that was his baby. She's like, you know what? I'm just gonna make you sweat it out, and you're gonna play yourself, and we're gonna go to court, and I'm gonna have you in court documents saying all this dumb shit, and it's actually your baby. So congrats.
I believe this conspiracy theory 100%.
It's what I would do.
Yes, yes, of course. Like we're on Ready to Be Petty.
Right.
Like, of course. I think like the other hint that is actually what happened is because in the released Snapchat conversation, he's like, well, you live in Texas and what's the version? Child support. I always want to say alimony, but it's child support.
Yeah.
Like the laws aren't like ironclad or whatever. Like you're going to get nothing if you live in Texas. And she's like, okay, I'll move to California then.
Right. And like somebody mentioned that's like some true ho shit to like know the state laws about child support.
Yes,
Like obviously you've been in this rodeo before. Like you told on yourself.
Literally to just like pull up the information about all of the like child support laws. Yeah,
Right.
that is so cringe. The other thing that's been like interesting about this story is that like we knew that he had a kid coming like late November.
Mm.
The kid was born early December. Why a month later? Do you think it's just because it's the paternity results? Like, do you think he was alleging to the Kardashians that the kid could not be his?
Fully. 1,000%.
Ooh.
I know that they were saying that, sources were saying that he only told Khloe because it was starting to get around, not because like he found out. And so, he's so weird.
That is like
so weird.
way worse than I thought.
Yeah. Guarantee you he's been sending flowers, just like one Jeff Latham flower arrangement after another. Just like, I promise this is not like, it couldn't possibly be. And this is where it got me. He was like, the only time we could have conceived this baby was in March. Okay, well, we're at 9 months and now the baby's due. So Tristan, I think it only takes one time. And I think you of all people should know that. So like, what are we doing here?
So bad.
Wear a
It's
condom.
so embarrassing.
Wear
I
a condom.
I know. Or get a vasectomy if you don't want, like, I don't know if he wants more kids or not, but like, it seems like you don't. So it's like, get a vasectomy. But you're totally right. Like, the balloon industry is loving this because there is going to be 1,000 fucking balloon arrangements like made out of this storyline.
I should have bought stock in helium. I really should have thought about that.
Yeah, same. Well, I think that two things. I think if I had to look at Khloe's career or like her trajectory in this world, I'd be like, this is wild. I just feel like she's a totally different person than we first met her on Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yep.
And then the second thing, I just feel so bad, like at the collateral damage, which is like the kids in this situation. Just like we have access to those court documents on like TMZ and stuff. So they're going to live there forever. And I just think about your kid finding out that you're famous and stuff and then like logging on to the internet and seeing all this. And it's brutal.
Yeah, to see like club footage of your dad motorboating some chicks at the club while your mom's crowning with you.
Yes,
yeah. I mean,
literally.
Like literally so dark. I don't know what is wrong with this man, but he needs to get checked out. And like, my apologies, but he needs to get deported back to Canada. Sorry. You have to deal with him. There are great mental health facilities there. I'm sure your insurance is great. You don't even have to have insurance, right? So there you go. Great health care. And he should use it.
I feel like a lot of people forget that he's Canadian, but like barely. He doesn't act like it. That's for sure.
Certainly doesn't.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about was Selena Gomez and Cara Delevingne, who I feel like have been out of like the major headlines for a really long time.
Yeah.
At least in my world. Selena's had like some various like projects, her like cosmetic line, her TV shows, like, but Cara, I was like, hi, I haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. I can say pretty confidently that I don't think I've seen a single thing that Selena Gomez has ever done. But I know enough about her to be interested in her because I feel like we're going to find out like in a few years that there have been a lot of dark things that happened in Selena's past. And I feel like of the Disney kids, like she gets as packaged as like the nice one and Demi's like the bad one, quote unquote. But I feel like there's a darkness to her that just doesn't get shown to light the way it does Demi. And I'm not sure why, because I think there might be kind of neck and neck there, honestly.
Interesting.
I heard like a few years ago, there were a lot of blind items about Selena and Cara and how Selena wanted to kind of come out. I don't know if as a lesbian, but maybe bisexual. And that there are pictures of them like partying on a yacht where they're getting like pretty close. And it seemed like they dated. And so I'm wondering if this is like a continuation. I mean, Lord knows, if anybody can get pussy, it's Cara Delevingne. Doesn't matter who, like, who cares? So I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it.
Okay, like, you know that age-old adage that's like, guys can't be friends with girls? Well, it's like Cara actually can't be friends with girls. like
she is truly Miss Steely Girl. Like, I love it. I would like to be in the room where it happens and just see what the energy's like. But yeah, like I'm here for it. I love, and I feel like lesbian Hollywood or celebrity news is so underrated, but it's so interesting to me. I love it.
Same, me too. I feel like it's the reason I've like dug into celebrity blind items this year.
Yeah.
Is because it's all blind items. And you're right, like it's like untapped in the like mainstream celebrity gossip.
Yeah, because for some reason media still wants to be like two gal pals just hanging out. They're like, openly fingering each other in the street. I don't understand.
Yes, literally.
Like, why are we even playing this game? But yeah, it's very interesting to me. The tattoo, however, is like, wow, very like Tumblr 2012.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I think the two major things, they were seen at a baseball, or not baseball. They're not watching baseball. They were seen at a basketball game.
Yeah.
And Selena kissed her on the cheek. It was like, felt very like kiss cam. So I was like, okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And then they're seen again separately on tattoo artists' Instagram with like matching tattoos. If you haven't seen it, please look it up. It is a huge watercolor piece of a rose, like that's like dripping black, like rain.
Like, tell me you're a My Chemical Romance fan without telling me you're My Chemical Romance. It's so
cringe.
Like goth, like early 2000s goth. It's so interesting.
And like when I tell you that it's half of Selena Gomez's back.
Yeah. Huge.
And an entire Cara Delevingne's rib cage.
Yeah.
It's massive. So it was just so shocking to me that like, not that they would get tattoos together even, because I know that they both have a couple, but it's like just the size and like what it was.
Yeah. It's shocking. A statement. It's a statement for sure. And I want to know what that statement is.
Me too. I just think of like all the red carpets that they do in backless dresses and stuff. Like,
yeah.
Just not that it will be shown, but just that it's just for everyone to see and question, I guess, for a really long time.
Right. There's no hiding that.
So do you think like it means anything specific?
I hope so. I hope it means that they're in love with each other and that they're going to work it out. But I also feel like they have two pretty hard partying backgrounds, and that's concerning. Yeah. Like maybe this could be like Lindsay and Sam Ronson 2.0, which, to be honest with you, I'm here for.
Yeah, I kind of am too. Not that I miss this for like the people involved, because it seemed like a tough time, but I really do miss like celebrity partying and watching them like drive away in their car, like paparazzi shots. Like I really miss that era.
Right. The kids don't know the impact of like seeing somebody come out of like Craig's, or like, when Lindsay came out of that club with powder coming out of her shoes and everybody's like, is that Coke? Like kids don't know that impact. They don't know.
I really miss those days. But you're right. Like Selena and like Cara doesn't necessarily have a like buttoned up image, but you're right about Selena. Like she grew up with Demi and Miley, etc. And they've talked about some of the darker, especially Demi, obviously. They've talked about darker bits of their past, but we don't hear much other than like maybe some like potential drug use from like Selena. So
yeah, I mean, she's been to rehab, but she doesn't really seem like she wants to call it like a drug or alcohol rehab, like a substance abuse rehab. It seems like therapeutic. So I don't know. I just have a lot of questions about her.
Yeah, that's so true. Like she goes to rehab and then it's stated for like health reasons.
Yeah.
And this sounds really bad. Like I really don't want to say this, but like I just will. Like sometimes when she's going to somewhere for like rehab, I'm like, do they do rehab for like that type of illness?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's a fair question.
Like I don't know. It just seems weird. Just her hanging out with like Justin Bieber and his like party heyday and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's just a little bit suspect.
Yeah. Do you remember that video where they were just like in Skid Row, which is like the druggy homeless area in LA, and paparazzi caught them and they're like, we're just like hanging out.
I am so glad you brought this up because I've been waiting literal years for someone to bring up these videos. Like, I just needed an excuse. Like, I was thinking a few weeks ago, I was like, I'm just going to talk about it, like, bring it up out of nowhere. But I'm so glad you brought it up. But I feel like this is like, it's not underground for people that are into blind items and like deep into celebrity gossip.
Right.
But like for mainstream people, I feel like it would be really shocking or just unheard of. But in like I don't know, maybe like 2014 or something like that, Selena and Justin, not their like second round getting back together, like still in their like first round, were in LA at like a known drug dealer's like drop location.
Yeah.
I believe it was the drug dealer or somebody like that, like filming them and then posting it on Facebook and being like, look who swung by today. Like,
yep.
And it's just both of them potentially allegedly buying drugs in like an alleyway / like it looked like a dollar store. And people are just like, for what other reason would you be there?
Right.
But it got like super scrubbed from the internet. So only the real ones know. Like,
for me, not knowing anything about Selena's actual career, I sure do know a lot about her personal life.
Okay, I feel like that's me all the time. I'm like, I have no idea who this person is. And then like I start talking and then I'm like, oh no, I know everything about them. Like,
totally.
And I'm like, where do all of these things live in my head?
Right.
God. Anything else you want to say about Selena and Cara? Just
be
well.
Yeah, mazel. Congratulations.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking forward. I feel like we've had really awful storylines come out for 2022 in the world of pop culture. And this has been like an optimistic one for me. I'm like excited to like learn more.
Yeah, exactly.
So our last story that we wanted to talk about, or I'm really forcing this on Cara, to be honest. But Katy Perry is back with like a vengeance, apparently.
Yeah.
She has a Vegas residency, which, to be honest, I did not know she had until some like TikTok clips of her came out. So that's not great.
with the poop? Is that the one that you saw?
Yes.
The poop singing in the toilet? Yeah.
Yes. So if you haven't seen that, you're so lucky. But it's literally like a giant animatronic poop in a huge toilet. It's like Taylor Swift, like her snake from her Reputation era, but a toilet and a poop. And it's camp for sure. But like, can you be camp if you're like trying that hard?
See, that's the issue I have with Katy is like, I don't really know which end is up with her. Like, is she trying to be a joke or is she trying to like, is this like elevated humor that I'm not catching or is this all we're getting? Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I get that too. And like, for some reason, I think that like she has been trying to do that for the like, remember when she did the live stream of her just like living in that house for 24 hours?
Yeah.
Like, I think that was her trying to, like, make things work. Her growing out her hair or getting a wig and dyeing it black again, I feel like is her realizing that the last, like, 10 years has not worked out for her.
Right. Like, whatever eras you were trying to give the girls, they didn't want it. They said, no, thank you. We'll get back to Katy, please.
Yeah, like, we need Teenage Dream just again.
Right. And good luck to her. I mean, Vegas is like now the thing, or it's been the thing for quite a while. It's like prestigious and it's so much easier because you're just in one location and people are coming to you and you don't have to like travel or whatever. So like good for her. I mean, obviously this is not like the greatest time to be having those like tightly theater sized concerts, but you know, good for her.
That's like a good point. Yeah. Am I going to a concert in 2022? Absolutely not. But I will say that like her vibe and her performance, I feel like is perfect for Vegas.
Yeah, I would agree. Because there's a lot of show. There's a lot of things happening. You're not necessarily there for her dancing or her singing. But, you know, there's like a lot of things, you know, and that's as a whole experience.
Yeah, like it would be fun to do a girls trip, get drunk, and then go to that show. Whereas when I heard Adele was doing a residency, I was like, I don't want to be in public listening to Adele because I'm sobbing.
Right. And like I was thinking that too, like, who would I go with?
Yes.
What's the vibe?
Yes.
Who, like, going to Vegas for Adele just seems so opposite to me.
It does, because after the performance, like you want to go out and stuff, you want to continue the fun, and with Adele, like I would be going home and ordering pizza,
right?
Like not going to a club.
Grilled cheese from the hotel and like
yes. Yes, exactly. So that didn't make sense to me, but I do feel like Katy Perry's does. And I am surprised you mentioned that it was like prestigious to get one in Las Vegas. And I was kind of like surprised actually.
Yeah.
That she has that much pull. Yes.
Yeah. For somebody who's never even been nominated for a Grammy, that's a lot.
And then I was thinking like, but what arena or whatever is she at? Because I know that there's obviously like tiers. Like, is she at the Rio like off the Strip, or is she at like the Bellagio or Caesar's Palace?
Right. Or is she like Circus or
Yes, like the pirate one or whatever. Like who knows, really?
Yeah.
She's back to her bright colored latex. It really is like 2012 or whatever all over again. And then she did her whipped cream boobs in California Girls. This time around she poured, I think like people are saying it's a beer from her boobs.
Okay.
They were like 2 cans that she like cracked open and poured herself a glass of beer.
Now that you mention it, I do think I saw that costume. Gosh, she's really an innovator.
Really? Like it took 10 years to get from whipped cream to beer. I just think like though beer is not like a sexy drink.
No, and it stinks. Like who wants it's not even good.
Yeah, like I don't want to smell like a, I don't know, like a gas station or like a dorm. I want to, like, you would want like a vodka or like a, I don't know,
something,
tequila or something.
At least like a hard seltzer or something.
Yes. Oh my God. That would be very 2022. A lover boy to just bring it, circle back to Summer House.
There you go. It's a brand partnership I would like to see.
Yes. And they could like literally probably get Katy Perry.
I honestly, like, I might DM Amanda right after this.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. That's so funny. Well, Katy, can't wait to see what you do next. Her looks, like, I looked at an article of just all of her show looks, and it's just, yeah, it's the latex, it's the oversized, like, cartoon versions of foods and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Good for you, Katy. Good for
her. I know that check's nice. So, you know what? Get money.
Yeah. I was like thinking, is she still with Orlando Bloom?
I think so.
Yeah. Well.
And Daisy? Is that what they named
it? Yeah. I actually don't hate that.
No, it's cute. It's cute like Northwest. It's like very on the nose, but it's cute. Whatever.
It's cute. That is it.
Thank you. This was so fun.
Thank you so much for coming on. I super appreciate it. And this was really fun.
Thank you for having me.
Where can the listeners find your podcast and anything else you want to plug?
Yeah, my podcast is called Everyone's Business But Mine. And you can find that everywhere you listen. And you can follow me on Instagram also at Everyone's Business But Mine.
Nice. And you'll find Cara in the like comments of all the best Instagram accounts. I always like yours, just like I feel like it's like a laser to your comment, and I'm always like reply. So yeah, great follow. Highly recommend. Thank you so much for coming on. And there you have it. Thank you, Cara, for joining me for today's episode. And thank you so much for listening. We have no This Week in Petty, but we will be back next week. Is there something that you want me to discuss next? You can message me on Instagram at RTBP Podcast. I love hearing your opinions on all of the stories we talk about on the episode. I also appreciate your ratings and reviews on Spotify and Apple. You can tell me what you liked best about the episode and what I could do better for the next time. I hope you are safe and healthy out there. As always, I'm your host, Torry, and I'm ready to be petty. See you soon. Bye.